this point, I thought it was purely a misunderstanding. Entitled Mom. Don't be ridiculous. Those were laborers my boyfriend's dad hired.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
What's going on, guys? It's Christion. I'm back here for another video, and in this one I'm going to be reacting to r/entitled parents. This one's called r/entitled parents Karen demands I leave my own property. So I actually have seen a couple of these types of videos before with entitled parents and the nice guys and all that stuff on Reddit. It's pretty wild stuff, actually. In this video, I have on the shirt of Smokey the Bear, aka Smokey the God. You know, this guy, he wears pants, and I didn't know that for the longest time. But yeah, that's a pretty cool thing about Smokey the Bear. He just walks out with his bare chest, but he has to keep the pants on, keep it safe for the children. Anyway, in this video, I'm probably going to be splitting it up, this reaction, because it is a longer video, but I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. All right, let's see what Karen is so upset about.
Hey there, Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/entitled parent stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. Entitled Mom calls the cops on me for trespassing on my own land. After that, employees lose their entire career over $3,000 worth of jewelry. And after that, I don't work here. I just want to play Warhammer. Now, for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen will lose her Costco membership. So please smash that like button. And if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. And join as a channel member today, and I'll give you a special shout out in our next video. Entitled Mom calls the cops on me for trespassing on my own land. Cast. We've got me. We've got the typical entitled mom. We've got Frank, unlucky neighbor, the owner of Entitled Mom's house and the father of Entitled Mom's baby daddy. Grandfather, an 83-year-old farmer who takes no crap. And cops 1, 2, and 3. Backstory. For most of my life, I was raised by my grandfather. Nothing was wrong with my family life or anything, just a few sets of circumstances that's a whole other story in itself. We live in a suburban area surrounded by woods, and he owns about 10 acres into the woods with the boundaries clearly marked by stone walls. One of these stone walls separated my grandfather's land from a cul-de-sac, and up until now, we have had zero problems with any of them. In fact, my grandfather was usually more than happy to give permission to neighbors who politely asked him to use his land, given they had a good reason. One of these neighbors had asked my grandfather if he could dump the sticks and leaves in his yard over the stone wall. My grandfather agreed, as he rarely uses that part of the property anyway. This will be important later. My grandfather is very healthy for his age and still strong as an ox. That being said, he has a few minor health issues, including vertigo spells, so I've been trying to help him around the yard more and more, as well as just stay active outside away from the crowds with this thing going around. Recently, I've started the project of cleaning up the underbrush around the wooded area. A large pine had fallen a few months before and almost hit one of the porches in the cul-de-sac. My grandfather cut up the tree and removed the pieces in the neighbor's yard, but it was too deep into the woods to pull them out with a tractor. This led to me going back to that pine tree and trying to clear a path back to the house from there. I was behind the stone wall, cutting and pulling up saplings, when I hear the glass door of the cul-de-sac house open and an angry lady storming out onto the porch in a bathrobe. She was much younger than a typical Karen, I would say mid-20s. Entitled Mom. What are you doing here? You can't be here. Me. Why not? Because you're trespassing. You think you can just hang out in the woods behind my house with my kids inside? Get out of here before I call the cops. At this point, I'm just looking at her trying to figure out what to say. I mean, I get it. It can be a little weird seeing someone in the woods behind your house if you haven't seen them before. Me. Ma'am, I'm sorry if I scared you, but my family owns this part of the woods. I'm just cleaning up back here. Remember me and my grandfather were back here a few months back to take care of that tree that fell down? I just need to clear a path so we can get it out of here. At this point, I thought it was purely a misunderstanding. Entitled Mom. Don't be ridiculous. Those were laborers my boyfriend's dad hired.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
You don't own the land. My boyfriend's dad owns all this. Gestures with her hand. Now I'll tell you one more time to get out before I call the cops. Now, I'm thinking I might be dealing with a genuine idiot, as outside our property boundaries, the woods are owned by the town water plant and don't have public access. But I'm also taken aback that she referred to us as laborers.
That's crazy.
Me. Guess you're going to have to call the cops then, because I ain't moving. I don't care what you, your boyfriend, or your boyfriend's dad says. I shrug as I lean back against the wall and pull out my phone to call my grandfather to tell him where I was. He tells me he'll be there in a few minutes and to hang tight. She then dramatically proceeds to call 911 and tell them there's a shady individual on her property refusing to leave, and she's afraid for her life. I start getting nervous at this point, even though all I have on me is a hooked branch cutter. So I call up the police non-emergency number, briefly explain the situation as just a land dispute that got out of hand, and that I am unarmed and waiting on my own property, and that I have never left my own property. He assured me that it would be settled when the officers arrive, which didn't help my nerves. Just then, I hear my grandfather pull up and see him walking through the yard towards us. Entitled Mom. What? Stay back. You can't come in my yard. Grandfather growls. Keep your mouth shut, you dumb broad. He growled as he walked over to me and climbed over the wall so he was on my side. Grandfather. Now who the heck do you think you are? And why are you yelling at my granddaughter? Entitled Mom. My boyfriend's dad owns all of this, and both of you are going to get arrested for trespassing. My grandfather let out a dramatic, indignant laugh. Oh, did he tell you that? Well, you're in for quite the shock, and your boyfriend's dad is in for quite the talk. After them yelling back and forth for a few minutes, 2 cop cars pull up, and 3 officers come walking into the yard. As soon as they do, she starts screaming again about how we have no right to be in the woods behind her house where we can see her family inside. Cop 1 looks to grandfather. Sir, do you own this property behind this wall? Grandfather. Yes, sir, I do. Pulls out his wallet to show his address. Cop 1 eyeing the license. Sir, this address is for down the street. Me. Correct, but if you look on Google Maps, it shows the property boundaries of that address reach out through the woods and end at this wall. I hand him my phone, which already has Google Maps open, showing our exact location within the boundary of the property. Cop 2. Yup, she's right. So what were you all doing back here, if you don't mind me asking? We explained the situation of the tree and how we were working.
That should be it right there, honestly. Like, there's nothing else. Like, as soon as that Google Maps was pulled up and it showed that his property expanded all the way to that woods area, that's the end of the case right there. It should just everybody should just go home at that point.
To remove the remnants. Meanwhile, the other officer was taking a statement from entitled Mom. Grandfather. I know the owner of this house. He's a good guy. I gave him permission to dump his leaves and stuff behind the wall, but I've never seen her before, so I don't know where she got those crazy ideas. But I'm definitely going to have a talk with Frank when he gets home. Cop 1. She already called him up and he's on his way. Do you mind sticking around for a little until he gets here? Grandfather. Sure. We got nothing to do. The cops walked us to my grandfather's truck, where we waited around 10 minutes for Frank to pull in. When he did, he immediately walked over to the truck. Frank. What's going on? Someone was hiding out in the woods? Are you okay? Did you see him? To clarify, we have had an issue in the past with people running from cops and hiding in our woods. It took a second for us to realize he thought that maybe entitled Mom saw one and we came to chase him out. Me. Not exactly. At this point, 2 cops are around us again, but being 2 old guys who obviously pose zero threat, they're noticeably relaxed and kind of let them talk it out. Frank explains that entitled mom is his granddaughter's mother and his son had made some mistakes and currently both were staying with him while they tried to find a place of their own. He thinks maybe his son told some lies to make him look better. Grandfather: well, I hate to say it, but your son made some big mistakes. She's crazy. Frank: oh, you have no idea. The other cop is still talking to entitled mom, who won't stop screaming about not wanting us being able to see into the living room, especially my grandfather, a creepy old man. My blood is boiling at this point. My grandpa is the type of person who would gladly throw his life away to save a kid, even a stranger's. Frank heard this too and ordered entitled mom inside at once. He told the cops he needed to have a talk with both her and his son about their living situation, but they might want to remain nearby in case she tries to call again for whatever reason. Me and my grandfather are given the clear to go, but leave our contact information. Found out later that week that entitled mom was getting evicted for a number of reasons, with this little incident being the last straw. He's also filing for custody of his granddaughter because entitled mom refuses to get a job, yet still has money for things she doesn't need, yet keeps asking Frank for money to take care of his granddaughter. I really feel bad for her in this situation, but I have no sympathy for entitled mom whatsoever. Entitlement at its best. Employees lose their entire career over $3,000 worth of jewelry. Without disclosing too much information, I work at a store franchise as a cashier, among other small jobs around the store. I open the store relatively often, or at least work early in the morning. We also hired a cleaning company to clean the store with their industrial equipment, and they are also employed by a few other large franchises to clean. To avoid doing it in front of customers, they come in the middle of the night and have their own key and alarm code to enter. To kind of stage this story, I should talk about a smaller incident that happened a day before the main incident happened. A coworker and I were talking about how all the jewelry in our display had sold, about $3,000 worth, and we were wondering who had bought that much jewelry. Turns out, our store cleaners were caught on camera stealing the jewelry in the middle of the night, at least $3,000 worth. On top of that, we realized they have been stealing for years, so now there are years worth of camera footage to look through to calculate how much they actually ended up stealing, as my company is suing them. I'm assuming it adds up to more than $5,000 worth of product. They will also be going to jail for theft over $5,000. Also, of course our company informed their other employers, so it is more than likely they have lost all their contracts and who knows if they were stealing from them as well. Personally, I don't think that amount of jewelry is worth your entire career and income, but what is done, and now they have to face the consequences of their actions. It's unfortunate because I have met and spoke to them on multiple occasions, so I know them quite well. I never imagined they were capable of doing something like that. Do you think those employees should be forgiven and given another chance? Or do you think they should go to jail? Please leave a comment letting me know.
To be honest with that situation, I do not think that they should be given another chance at this point because they had clearly been doing it for a while. It wasn't just one instant, as they said. They had been caught on camera doing this for years, so they know at this point the consequences of their actions, and I don't think that they should be allowed to work in that specific profession again. As far as jail time is concerned, maybe minimum sentence. It is like expensive jewelry. However, I just think that that type of crime shouldn't be punished as harshly as others, like aggressive type of crimes, I guess, like murder and such. So I do think overall that they should get another chance to work, and not in that field or department at all. So we just listened to those two stories. Some people just have this sense that they should have more power than what they really do. So I think that's what happened with that first lady, and maybe her boyfriend told her something different that led her to believe that she owned that. Yeah, so when she was provided with that image, it really should have cemented in her mind that I'm not going to win this dispute, so let me take a step back. But some people, they just can never admit defeat. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, leave a like. Comment down below what you want to see me react to next, or what other type of content you'd like to see. And that's it. See you guys next time. Click the subscribe button.